Is anybody? All right, great, fantastic. I see everybody's in. So welcome. And just drop me a quick message of where you're from and where we're talking from. I'm in Dubai today and it's very hot outside, so I've got my air conditioning on. And let me know where you're from. Type into the chat what city you're in or what country you're in so that I can see a little bit who we're talking to today. All right, Brazilian. Wow, Andre, how are you? Excellent, fantastic. And who else have we got here? Okay, say hello if you're here. All right, Jacqueline, Mary, wonderful, excellent, very nice. Okay, this is really great. And I'm really excited here today to welcome you on this webinar on how to create a bulletproof mindset and really become your own CEO. This is really a mindset altogether. We're going to learn how to slow down, reset your mindset, and then speed up and thrive so that you can really bring your business up in ease and with absolute success. So I'm going to run a little poll here for us just to have a quick look at who we're dealing with. Can you see this poll? Let me know quickly, what is your occupation? Just let me know quickly where we are at. All right, excellent. Freelancers, employees, entrepreneurs. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So we got everybody in, fantastic. So most people are freelancers and entrepreneurs. Excellent. So we are in the right crowd here today. This is for you. So why are we here today? Is running your business overwhelming you? Or is running your life overwhelming you? We could see that in so many different ways. Overwhelm doesn't just happen in business. It happens in so many ways. So let's have a look at what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to help you to shift your mindset from overwhelm to focus. I'm going to help you to shift from react to respond and shift you from being a busy manager to a CEO. So who is excited about learning something new today? Just give me a yes in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat if you're excited about learning something new today. Excellent. Okay. Fantastic. I love it. So here we are. I've got a case study here to start off with. This is Mary before working with me. She had trouble with her design objects business, didn't work out for her. She lost confidence in her ability for success, and she got stuck in the same results over and over. After joining this mentorship program that I run, she started to run a new business. It's growing fast. She's empowered and confident in her abilities, and she now has the tools to deal with anything that life throws at her. She's doing really well. Her business is expanding, and I know all about it. Here's the thing, though. There's something you need to know. While my clients are getting great results, these results are not typical. Hello, Hans Ulrich. Nice to see you as well. Those results are not typical. They are only for people who are actually applying themselves. So I'm going to be showing you things today that my clients get to see how to achieve quantum leaps. But you only get out of this what you put in. So if you don't put in anything, you will get out nothing. So you have to put action. This is what it's always about. No action and no results. Now, who is this for? This is for everybody, but you're probably here because I've been talking a lot about starting up businesses, entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, as you know, working on your own. This is a new trend. A lot of people are doing this now. A lot of people are working on their own. The last year, 18 months have brought up a whole new economy, and it's a challenge for many people. I've also got a lot of information here for people who don't have any time for family, who need to increase their effectivity, who are feeling stuck, and who may even be feeling some sort of burnout approaching. So I can help you with a whole range of other issues too, but these are the ones that really stuck out recently as those that really require attention. So my goal for this webinar today is for you to learn how to slow down, work on your mindset, reset everything, and then to speed up in confidence and thrive, because you will. I'm here also to show you to take control of yourself and to start thinking like a CEO. Think like you're in charge, okay? And I will show you to be more effective in less time. I'm going to show you how to respond instead of react and stay in control no matter what. I'm going to show you to think the right way and avoid the mistakes that others make in their thinking process. And that is so common. You're going to be so thrilled with this. I'm going to show you how to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, which is what most people do. Give me a quick yes if you're excited about these topics, because this is going to change things. If you take any of these 3 things on board, you're going to be very, very much in a different situation than most other people. Excellent, Jacqueline, fantastic. So why am I qualified? Some of you know me more in this role, as my professional story ended in 2020 as an airline pilot. I've been actually mentoring in aviation for the last 15 years since I've been a captain in aviation. And I've been studying mindset for many, many years. And the funny thing is, you know, I've been successful working my way up from being a part-time ground staff to being an Airbus 380 captain for a global brand flying all over the world with hundreds of passengers and crew. And the reason for that has always intrigued me. How did I get from A to B? And it's a little bit like my mentor, Bob Proctor, although my success was slightly different. I couldn't quite figure out what made success happen. So I've always been studying it. But in 2020, when I lost my job with my former employer, I then just went on board and just immersed myself 100% with Bob Proctor and his material. And then I became a consultant with the Proctor Gallagher Institute. And I'm working directly with Bob Proctor and his material all the time. I do this since 2020 nonstop. And it's really, really empowering. And thereby I became an entrepreneur. And well, I've been a real estate developer for some time, and I'm also an investor. And after 33 years of aviation, I switched my profession in less than a year with the help of these tools and many others that we don't have time for today. But this is really some of the essence of what changed my life. So why should you trust me? Well, I've been helping people for many, many years. All my professional life has been with the idea of helping people. I started as a ground staff, as I mentioned, helping people get to the airplanes, helping people off airplanes, helping people find their baggage and lost baggage, etc. I've been helping people with the Red Cross as I was working for them many years ago, and all the while always thinking of that picture there on the right, wanting to help more people, get more people from A to P and really do something outstanding. Airlines and passengers have trusted me. I've had about 1 million passengers in my life, and they've all trusted me with their lives. So that's my basic background. Now back to you. If you've been struggling with your new business or with any other challenge that you're looking at the moment, there could be so many challenges, and it doesn't have to be business, but business is one where a lot of people are finding themselves in. This is probably why. But before we dig in, I just want to ask you something. Please give this whole program here today. We're not here for long. I really like to ask you, give us your full attention. I've got my phone on silent. I've switched off my mails and I've put away my Facebook notifications so we can really focus on this, because if you do, you will really get something out of this. This is really a two-way street. The more you put your attention onto this, the more you're going to get out of this. And I really want you to get the most out of this day today. This is how we used to do things. And I think my generation and previous, that was the mantra of how you became successful. This is what we now consider the hard way. This is what you've been told to do since you were little, is work hard, get more done. That was, you know, one of the big keystones of my parents' generation in particular. If we multitask, we get things done quicker. If I do it myself, I'll do it better than anyone else. Nobody does it as well as me. That's one of the big fallacies. And of course, one of the more recent improvements that people believed in was, oh, I've got to do everything now, now, now. Don't procrastinate, don't delay until later. Well, that's not really true, because if you follow that, you will get nowhere, because you're going to be so distracted. In today's world, the distractions are coming by the second. You can't do everything now. You've got to get organized, stop working hard, and start working smart. And this is what we're trying to do right here. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 secrets. These 3 secrets have changed my life over the last, let's say, the last 8-9 months that I've been working with Bob Proctor and looking for a way to change my life completely. This is what happened. There's a lot more than what happened in this, but these are 3 really powerful secrets. So number 1, what's stopping you from getting things done? If you're anything like me, I was all over the place. I was firefighting left and right. I was wearing 10 hats at the same time and trying to be everywhere at the same time. Becoming an entrepreneur was a challenge after years and years of being an employee. Number 2, how to avoid the number 1 mistakes that 97% of entrepreneurs and people in general make, which sabotages your success. And the next thing is your self-image sabotaging you? You're going to learn how important this is in a moment, but self-image is incredibly powerful, and we all have one. Most of us are not even really aware of what it does. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit about that today. Who here is excited about learning about new secrets? Give me a quick yes in the chat. Just make sure that you're all still here, that you are excited as I am. Wonderful. Andre, fantastic. Excellent. Mary, Hans, and who else have we got here? MJ. Okay, I can't see your name. There is another MJ. So we got 2 MJs today. Fantastic. I love it. This is exciting. So here's the secret number 1. What is really stopping you from getting things done? Well, we call this the knowing-doing gap. This particular image shows a horizontal gap, this chap trying to cross the border. I actually look at it as a vertical gap. We know what we should be doing, but we end up doing something less or different. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works out. This is how it is done. This is how it is currently for most people. 96 to 98% of your results actually come from a place where you have no conscious control. And that, to me, was a scary revelation. When I heard that from Bob Proctor, I almost lost my balance. It was like I was a pilot and I thought I had control over everything. But fact is, 96 to 98% is out of autopilot. You don't have any conscious control. It's that subconscious that is in control. We call that a paradigm. And it's a whole range of things that is located in your subconscious mind. And this subconscious mind is incredibly powerful. Think of it like that. If you look at that equation, you're only left with 2 to 4% of effective conscious control over your results. Now, for me, that was a big thing. And I immediately jumped to trying to learn how that works. So the paradigm in itself is really, it's like a multitude of habits, behaviors. It's your belief system. It is your self-image, which we're going to look at as well today. And that really runs on autopilot virtually all of the time. And most of the time, we're not aware of any of this. This is where we close the gap. And now closing the gap means we apply auto-suggestion. This has been used for decades. So how do you feel realizing that you are actually on autopilot all the time? That you have no control or hardly any control over what the results in your life are? Does that scare you? Give me a quick comment in your chat. For me, that was something big. Does that make you feel anything? Have you heard this before? Anyone? Okay. Anyway, learning about this, yeah, it's scary, right? Exactly. It's like that, yeah. Wow, yeah, it is truly like that, Hans. And when you realize that, and being an adult and wanting to have control over our lives, I found that was just something I wanted to learn. Big revelation. Changed everything for me, and it made me do a mindset shift. And you can have that too. Now, let's look at some examples. In life, for example, this knowing doing gap. Say you're on a diet, okay? You've decided you're going to eat low calories or maybe no carbs or whatever it may be that's fashionable at the moment. And there is that beautiful chocolate cake, and it's just sitting there on the kitchen table. I know because I see that often. And so you're on a diet, you still do it anyway. Is that slice of cake? I can do it, doesn't matter. You know that you don't want to have it, you shouldn't have it, but somewhere down here, you're doing it anyway. Or could be the other way around. You know you've decided that you want to be fit and healthy, and you've decided you're going to go and exercise every day. And every afternoon you want to go to the gym or some other sport activity. And what happens? You end up zapping on Netflix and you don't do it. You know you should do it, but you're not doing it. At work, it could be in a different way. You could be on a task and you've scheduled yourself, as most people do who are effective, and you end up on Facebook flicking through, swiping, looking at all sorts of funny videos and actually not getting it done. Or maybe putting off some other unwanted task, like making calls if you're in sales, and in the end you procrastinate and you don't do anything. Does that sound familiar? Anyone ever caught themselves doing these things? Give me a quick yes or a no. For me, I've been doing these. Oh yeah, you know what it's like, right? Okay, Andre, yes. Mary, okay, yeah, you see, yeah, sometimes, exactly. Sometimes we're better than that, but sometimes we're not. And how we want, if we manage to close this gap, imagine how much more effective you are if you do everything that you know to do. So this is what we're going to be looking at. Knowing is up here. It's the conscious mind that knows. It's the subconscious mind that does. These two don't align. And if you bring your doing up to the knowing, you're going to be so effective. You're going to be so much more efficient. You're going to get so much more done in so much less time, and you will take control. So how does all this show up? Well, it's a bit like this. You know what to do, right? We've talked about that already. You know what to do, but let's say you have ineffective habit patterns and you don't even notice it. Like, have you ever taken time to analyze your activities on a daily basis? Well, if you haven't recently, I'd like to invite you to take a pen and paper and just make a note, because we won't have time now to do this live, but just think about that. Make a note to do that afterwards. Write down everything that you did yesterday, from the moment you woke up until the moment you go to bed. And really fill every single time block and every activity and find out how much time you spent doing that. Whether you were doing Facebook, whether you were watching a movie, whether you were on the news, whether you were working or doing a workout, whether you're studying, put that down and try to account for every moment of the day. And have a look at how much time you could possibly be wasting in the day that you could be spending more effectively and get things done. There probably is going to be quite a lot. And if you find gaps, you're going to know that these gaps can be filled with effectivity. But you got to be honest with yourself. Don't try to smoothen things over, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to get the result. And so remember, you can't get to where you're going if you don't know where you are. So we're taking stock of that today. We're taking stock of our activities. And if you don't feel that yesterday was representative for a normal day, pick the day before. But find a day that's typical and find those wastages. And then you're going to see, how did we develop those habit patterns? Yeah, it's paradigm. It is your programming. And this programming is all in your subconscious mind. You didn't put it there. Whatever actually happened is that when you were born, you were subject to every single thing around you, and it went straight into your subconscious mind until about the age of 7, almost up to 8 years, depending on the maturity and the rate of growing up. Everything goes straight into your subconscious mind. What your parents ate, what they did, how they spoke, how they behaved, how they socialized, what they talk about, everything goes straight in, and you just fill your hard drive and you become like that. Later, as you get bigger, your conscious mind develops and starts to develop a faculty of being able to choose thoughts and feelings that go into the subconscious mind. But either way, whatever is in there now, it's just come over the years until this very moment. And you've allowed it in because it wouldn't be there otherwise. It's only the stuff when you were a child that you didn't have any choice but allow it in. But the good news is you have more control than you think over this. Although we only have little conscious control, we can use it effectively to make changes in this paradigm. You can change it. So number 2 is how quickly, you just quickly answer that message that come in. You know, typical distractions. I'm doing something, I'm on a concentrated task, and there's a quick message. Oh, well, I'll just quickly answer that. Like right now, there's messages, but I'm going to ignore them because I have a time slot that is allocated to them. And so why do we do this? Again, we're working on autopilot. This is how we've been conditioned lately, that everything is urgent, everything is important, and that we got to react to everything quickly. So try something else instead. Try to do only one thing at a time and really do that with your full concentration. Your ability to stick to the task at hand is actually something that we're not very well trained at, but it's going to determine your results. If you want better results, try to focus on one thing at a time. Allowing distractions really disempowers you. And you know, you deserve better than that because we are all wanting to improve. We want more results. We want to get better. We want to get more done in less time and have quality time for that what really matters. Friends, families, activities that really fill us with something more than just tasks. So try to do one thing at a time. Number 3, well, you think you can do everything yourself or you have to do everything yourself. Big fallacy. I used to be very prone to that. It's a classic case of ego. Again, this part comes from your paradigm. Until we learn how to manage to let go, we tend to be tangled up in micromanagement. Does that sound familiar? Who here is known themselves to be micromanaging something and, you know, wanting to do everything yourself because you do it best? Anyone? I certainly have been prone to that, and I had to learn to delegate, and it's just so much better. Yeah, right, exactly. Ralu, yes, there will be a recorded replay, absolutely. And it's going to come to you at the end of this. I'm going to send you an email with regard to that. Yeah, exactly. Try to get loose from it, but it is hard, right? We tend to think that we're the best at doing it. But here's the thing. Here's a quick and easy way to get control over this. Do the things that you're good at and do them well, that you enjoy doing. And then look at those things you don't enjoy doing. There's always things in your business or in your tasks that you don't enjoy doing. Delegate them to somebody who does, who knows how to do them. Find the specialized expertise and hand it over to them. Get that out of your face. You don't need to clutter yourself up with that. And then the third is probably the most important out of these 3 Ds. Ditch everything that isn't absolutely essential for the survival of your company or your challenge, the task that you're dealing with. Yeah, taxes, exactly. Don't try to do them yourself. Hand them to a specialist. Why? You want to stay the CEO. You want to be on top of that pyramid. You don't want to be looking at the trees. You want to be looking at the forest from above. When I learned to delegate and ditch my tasks, my workload just lightened up and I saw the forest again. Invaluable if you want to think like a CEO, because you know what? We need time to think. Not for mental activities like these trivial activities we're engaged in all day long, but real thinking where you really go deep and you try and figure out what is really important and you prioritize. That's how CEOs think. They clear their space up, they get on top of the pyramid. And you know what? We all don't have large organizations, right? We probably working in a small team or maybe on our own. But you can be on top of the pyramid and go down to the base of the pyramid, execute a specific task, do it well, focus on it, don't be distracted, come back to the top of the pyramid, observe what you've done, and do the next task. And if you schedule it like that, you stay the CEO You'll always be looking from above and you manage your tasks that way. That's what Earl Nightingale taught us. Have the view from the top of the pyramid. Point number 4 is thinking that you can multitask and work faster that way. You know what? Where is it? Sorry. Multitasking is something that's been haunting us. And it's more like the last 20 years, people start to believe in this, but it's not true. It's, again, paradigms that have programmed us to believe that this is possible. There is no place for multitasking in organized work. Absolutely none. If you want to get scattered and cluttered, multitask by all means, but it's the worst thing to do because it's a myth, first of all. Your brain cannot handle more than one thought at a time. So why try to do several things in rapid succession? All it does, it just makes you more nervous and you're not focused. Now, there is something that Earl Nightingale, one of my mentors, says. He says is act as if each of your tasks is performed successfully. And if each one is successful, or at least a greater majority of them, your life has to be successful. So you want to take one task at a time. You don't want to be multitasking. And James Allen, one of the great authors of the early 1900s, said, calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It's the result of long and patient efforts in self-control. Now, we need that self-control to execute doing one task at a time, one day at a time, and that's how we're going to build a beautiful business and a beautiful life. One task, one day at a time. Yeah. Who of you guys resonates with this idea of one thing at a time? Give me a quick yes if you feel this is something that could work for you. And maybe you've been finding that you're trying to do multitasking or get distracted or think that you can do everything yourself. Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. I love it. Great. You guys, you really rock. So how do I know all this stuff? Guess what? Last year in July, I still thought I was a pilot. This year coming up July, I've had to learn the hard way. So this was me. This was my stuff. I had to go through this. But thanks to the material that I learned from Bob, I managed to put everything into place and practice everything I do. So I learned to put great working habits on easy autopilot by going straight to the cause of the behavior, which is right in the paradigm. Now, working with the paradigms requires daily work. It doesn't come easy, it doesn't come fast. But if you do something every day, you're going to get dramatic results. And you're going to be able to change everything in your life. This happens over time, cannot be done immediately, but this method is called autosuggestion. Napoleon Hill calls autosuggestion the keystone to the arch of his philosophy of success. And if you read Think and Grow Rich, which I highly recommend you do, if you haven't, you're going to find he talks a lot about autosuggestion. This is the method, by the way, that has made you who you are today, because you've been autosuggesting everything that you've become. You just didn't know. You didn't notice it. It just happened. It's constantly coming at you and you're just repeating it and you're doing it. But now you're taking control. You are creating habits by yourself that you are going to autosuggest to yourself. And you do that straight into the paradigm. And that's how it becomes automatic. Working with a paradigm brings true results. Now, if you want to get real results, work at the paradigm. If you think that a New Year's resolution where you say, oh, well, you know what, I am going to just change my behavior, I'm just going to go to the gym every day. And you don't really put that into your paradigm as a habit. I think you and I both know that the chances of you going to the gym 3-4 weeks into the program are likely to be slim. Working on behavior brings poor results. Why? Because you're trying to go to the effect instead of the cause. And cause and effect is the most important law of the universe. Emerson calls it the law of all laws. It is where you're going now to the effect, and that's going to give you very poor results. And that's what most people do. They don't know that you can reprogram your paradigm and then just become autopilot. you don't even think about it. And now, I'll just give you a quick quote here from Buckminster Fuller, who was a great scientist, and he was also an architect in the last century. He said, in order to change an existing paradigm, you do not struggle to try and change the problematic model. You create a new model and make the old one obsolete. Who can resonate with that idea? Give me a quick yes if that makes sense to you. Ralu. Ralu, can we answer questions at the end? Okay, I'm going to remember you. Thanks. Yeah, you see, you guys all relate to this. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Andre, Mary, MJ, Jacqueline, excellent. So here's a little case study. This is me actually, because when it comes to habits, I can tell you exactly what happened to me. Before studying with Bob Proctor and learning his material, I was prone to sleeping late in the morning. And then I didn't get up. And when you stay in bed, and I discovered that the hard way, when you stay in bed and you're not actually sleeping, all you do is you just make yourself tired. I can't really figure it why it is, but I was tired all day long. And I'm going to tell you what changed. And then I reacted to countless tasks at random, helplessly out of control, trying to satisfy everything at the same time. And I ended up with 12 to 14-hour workdays. And if you ask my wife and my kid, they all said, you were more at home when you were flying. We had more of you. And so the truth is, after checking into results and working with Bob Proctor, I wake up fresh before 6 a.m. without any alarm. And it's my new behavior. I've auto-suggested it. I start my day with study and exercise. And I'm so primed, and I've done the most important parts of my day well before the day starts. And then I work effectively, and my work effectivity is basically tripled. And I do all of the work in 6 to 8 hours. In the evenings, if I don't have a training program, which is from the US or somewhere, then I'm free. And so I enjoy a completely different life now. And it's about changing your doing in the paradigm, not willfully. Your willpower is very limited. Let me tell you that. You cannot apply it to changing habits. You will not succeed. Now, give me a quick yes if you understand this concept, if it makes sense to you. Can you just, or if you have a question, make a note of it, because I'd like to hear your question at the end. We're going to have a quick question and answer at the end. Does this concept make sense to you? Reprogramming your paradigms. Hans, yes. Mary, yes. Okay, all of those who you don't feel it makes sense to. Okay, Jacqueline, fantastic, yes. All right, excellent. Andre, okay, so that's great. So I'm coming across, you guys get the message. Secret number 2, how to avoid the mistake that 97% of entrepreneurs make. And I love this one. You're going to love this one too. This is a very simple, but yet misunderstood thing. It's thinking outside in versus inside out. That's what everybody does. People are thinking with the results in mind, and they're letting the results control the thoughts and feelings. Why is that wrong? Well, we're going to get to that just now. But the real thinking that brings results is thinking inside out. The cycle is like that. Your thoughts create feelings. These feelings create actions through behaviors, and these actions cause you to interact with your environment, and that is what we get as result. And that is the things that you see in your life, what you've achieved in your life. We call that a result. If you're going to look at what we're going to show you just now, you're going to see how that really truly shows. We live through our 5 senses. Most people use the senses to absorb the environment, look at all the unwanted stuff, and guess what? Get more of that. Why? We're going to see in a cycle just now. Letting the environment control your thoughts and feelings will cause more of the same unwanted results. So you end up in this endless loop of helplessness. You're a little bit like a hamster in a wheel. You're going to get more and more and more of the same by doing more and more and more of the same. Some of you may be familiar with this concept, some of you not. I'll just briefly show you how it works. Here, this is what we call the stick person. This bigger circle is your mind. The top part of it is your conscious part. This bottom part is your subconscious part. This thing here is the body. And you have your senses up here. Now you see, we take our outside results, what we've achieved and what's going on in the environment every day through our senses, and we start thinking about it. This thinking is all about the negativity that we see on the outside. That stirs emotions. You feel bad about it, right? And those poor emotions, those negative emotions, stir the body into activities that are in line with those emotions. And those emotions will cause exactly the same results that already upset you in the first place. So you're like a hamster wheel. Nothing changes in this equation. Absolutely nothing. This is a good comparison of how it should be. First, on the left-hand side, if you look at the 97% here, you're going to see how people are starting their thinking from the results. Then they let the results influence their thoughts, or they go straight into feeling them. Say we look at a virus or a jobless situation or anything else that is negative, like the news. You straight away feel bad because news are always bad. And then what? You're going to be acting by talking more about it or enhancing that any further, and you're going to get more and more and more of the same. This is an endless loop of the same. And guess what? You're helpless, you're reacting, you're not thinking. There's no analysis of the validity of the information, of the usefulness. You're just in a negative downward spiral in this hamster wheel. Nothing will change. Here is how successful people think. On the right-hand side, you see the 3%. That's the successful people. They don't start looking at the results. No, they start looking at the star here, which I circled in this green and yellow circle. They think from their goals. They only think about what they want in life, what they want to achieve. And they're so focused on that, that all their thinking is in line with their goals. And those thoughts will cause a whole range of different feelings in the subconscious mind, because they're going to impress those thoughts onto their subconscious mind, also known as the emotional mind, which is connected to your behaviors, drives your behaviors. It's like the engine. And that causes actions which will cause results. There will be very different results than the 97% that you just saw. Why? Because they're starting from a very different point. They may not be perfect results. Don't get me wrong. We don't say that everything is going to be perfect, but you then analyze those results in a sort of passive, unemotional way and ask yourself, is this what I wanted? If it isn't, you start a new train of thoughts and think about how you can do it better and how you can get better results. And you then impress those thoughts onto your feeling mind, into your emotional mind, and you get different kind of actions and different results again. So you're constantly getting better at something that you really want. Now that is a very different situation. This puts you in control. You're no longer reacting helplessly. You are responding intelligently. You're in control of this cycle. It's goal-driven. Results are analyzed and your ideas are adjusted and you make controlled corrections to your thinking. No longer are you in a downward spiral like everybody else's. And I can tell you that most of my people that I know, especially from the aviation world, and I think Andrea might relate to this, have been in this downward spiral because all they focus on is this negativity. So I ask you, how do you want to think? Give me an idea. Do you want to think like 97% or do you want to think like 3%? Give me a number in the chat of how you want to be thinking and what you're going to get out of this. 3%, huh? Definitely. Because you're in control that way, right? If you want to stay in control, think from your goal. Think from your want. This is something that's why we so much emphasize the need for a goal. And by the way, do you have a goal written down? I have a goal card that I carry with me. On the back of it, I have my goal in the present tense. I write it down and I carry it with me all the time. And it makes me think of my goal. So I'm constantly thinking of my goal instead of thinking of the outside world. you can really take control of your thinking. This slight difference of how you're going to start the origins of your thoughts will change everything in your life. But it does require some discipline. You need to practice it. It's like a muscle, like going to the gym. You need to practice it, okay? Like you would go and practice your fitness or your muscles. It doesn't come from everywhere. Now, you have higher mental faculties, and I'm going to briefly tell you about one of them that can really help you with practicing to be in the 3%. Who wants to know a higher mental faculty? Anyone? Give me a yes in the chat if you want to know how to practice this. Yay, cool. Ralu, Jacqueline, fantastic. Look, we've got 6 higher mental faculties that serve us in our conscious mind. We can use them to our advantage. And the most important one in this equation, from the will, the imagination, the memory, perception, intuition, and reason, the most important one to train your way of thinking is actually your will. The will is your ability to focus on one thing at the exclusion of everything else. To focus on one thing. So how can we practice focusing? It's your ability to concentrate. And in today's world, that's becoming scarce because we're so distracted. There's so many things going on. We're just overloaded with information. How can we do this? Well, my mentor, Bob, has taught me a great technique. There's 2 ways of doing this. One, you use a candle. Sit comfortably, relax, have a candle lighted up in front of you, like 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. Stare at that flame, and believe me, you're going to find it quite hard to hold the attention of that candle flame and not think of anything else. Just think of the flame and watch every little movement. Look at that and stare at it. Don't allow anything else to come up. Just think of the flame. You're going to find your mind wandering after a few seconds, or some people don't even manage that. And be kind with yourself. Gently steer your attention back to the candle, and do that as much as you can. If you don't have a candle, you can put a dot on the wall. I use a Post-it note right here in front of me, and I have a little cross on it, and I stare at it. And it helps me to concentrate. Do that, and you will be able to train your focus. It's simple, but very, very effective. And so when you do that, you'll start to be able to be stronger and stronger, and you'll be able to focus on what you really want in life and your goal, and make that the origin of your thinking. Forget about the outside world as a starting point. Look at your results once you've completed some action that comes from your thinking. Who here wants to practice a candle exercise? Give me a quick yes. Does that sound like something you want to try and do? Yay, I see you guys are in. Mary, fantastic. Yeah, that's it. We got to do this because, you know, if we don't do anything, we will not get any results. If we don't change anything, yes, Hans, fantastic. If you don't change anything, nothing will change. Yesterday's way of operating will give you the same results tomorrow. Getting better results means change things. Start working on yourself. Work on your faculties. Train your will. Train your focus. It's really, really powerful. You see, results-based thinking leads to nowhere. Okay, we've just seen that. Think inside out. This is what we call inside out. Think from your goal. That's how you think like a CEO. And I'll give you another little tip here. CEOs think from the goal backwards. They don't let unwanted results or the environment phase them. You see, we observe the unwanted results and we take them in, but we do that very kind of objectively. And then we see how we can do better, create a new series of thoughts. This is the one thing that really helps all my clients to focus on what they want instead of what they don't want. Because that's what most people do. They focus on all the stuff they don't want. And try this exercise. I think it's going to go a long way with you. And be patient. You know, nobody can build a new city, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and your new mindset won't be built in a day. But if you work step by step through these methods, you're going to find that you're empowering yourself more and more to take your life into control. I've got another case study here. Anna, one of my clients, before working with me, she was overloaded physically from too many long hours in several workplaces. Her sales and her affiliate networking market business actually started to decline. and she started to become unsure about her future goals. She hopped onto the program with me and the mentorship program, and she started to refocus and regain her energy. Her sales have increased dramatically, actually. I was just talking to her this morning, and there is an absolute boost. And then she's clear on her goals, and her personal successes are beyond expectations. So when you're working on your business success and you're applying these mindset strategies, guess what happens? Everything in your life changes, and not just your work. That's the beautiful thing. There's so much collateral positive benefit. How does that resonate with you? Give me a yes if you're keen to be in the 3%. Who wants to be in the 3%? Give me a quick yes before we move on. Who wants to be in the 3% group? Give me a yes. Yay. Jacqueline and Mary and Andre, everybody wants to be in the 3%. Is anyone else? 3% group? All right, great. Now, secret number 3, and I like this one because you know what? If you don't manage this one, you may as well not do anything, because this is going to hold you back if you don't understand it. So, have a look at this. Is this you? Have a look at this image. You see this mighty, powerful creature. And what does it see when it looks at the mirror? Doesn't look very powerful, does it? That's how this creature sees itself in the mirror. That's its self-image, okay? This is just an example, of course. But your self-image, in this case, is sabotaging you. If this is you, you are in trouble because you will not go far. You are sabotaged by a very inferior self-image. But you are, in fact, a powerful and incredibly unlimited human being. So why would you want to not work on this? Why would you allow this image to hold you back? Because all it does, it's like a cap. It's like a glass ceiling that's right on top of you, doesn't let you grow any further. Or you could say it's like a lid, yeah, on your progress, and it will never allow you to go further. But you can do something about this. You don't want to be in that cage. That is a cage, a very limiting image. You can not just change it, because remember what we saw earlier. And this is what I'm going to show you here. You can outgrow this. You can never outgrow this, but you can upgrade it. My mistake. So there's a set point. Your image has a set point. This is the set point of this image here is a little kitty. And our results in our life are a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. So if you look honestly at your results, you're going to see a direct reflection of your self-image. Some of us are aware of our self-image, right? And some of us are not. And if you're not aware, just look at your results. That tells you how you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you see yourself. This image, fortunately, can be worked on. And what we want to do is we want to look at our goals. Again, goals are the driver towards a better self-image. If you look at what you want to be in life, that's how we're going to start working on this. Okay. This self-image lies in your subconscious. It's again in this paradigm, that thing that lies in the subconscious mind and influences everything, is responsible for up to 98% of your results. The emotional mind, the paradigm. If you start working on the self-image, everything in your life will grow. Your company, your home, your self-esteem, your car, your bank balance, your confidence, your lifestyle, everything. This is the number one key. I always like to say, if I had to go on an island remote and I was only allowed to take one out of my many tools, mindset tools with me, I would be taking a good self-image. I think this is a better image. What do you think about this image? This is somebody who feels empowered, who sees him or herself as a human being full of potential, full of optimism, full of ability to shape the life that you really want. The universe is always for growth. You see that big lion is far bigger than that little cat. And everything in this universe grows or disintegrates. So you really want to make sure that you see yourself bigger than what you are, or at least in a very empowered version of yourself. So Here is what I urge you to do. One way to change your self-image is to upgrade it. And we can develop a script. So again, take a note of this and do this after this call. Write down what you see your life to be like. I mean, like really create the life of your dreams. Create the work outcome, the results that you want. Create the income. Put it down. Put that into a script and try to make it vivid. Really write something that is going to be something somebody else can read and really get the idea. And if you do that, you're putting all these ideas on paper, first of all, but more importantly, you're creating a script. Just like a movie director would, that he's going to hand to his actors. And now you can become the main actor in your movie. And then you will be able to create that image in your mind, because your mind doesn't work with words. Every word that you speak, in fact, gets translated into an image. So you want to go straight to the image. This is like cause and effect. Don't waste any time with the effect. Go straight into the cause. Work with the images. Create images in your mind and visualize them. When you visualize these things, and that's what many, many great people have done, you're not doing something outlandish or crazy. You're doing what many people that stand on the #1 podium of the Olympics have done prior to getting there. They saw themselves with that outcome. They saw themselves shaking hands with the president. They saw themselves bowing down to get the medal over their head. They see all these things beforehand, and they practice that very deliberately. So that can be you. You can take your goal, the one we talked about in the previous process, that you want to be thinking about constantly, and image that goal. Put an image to it and put scenes into that image that are like a movie. Different scenes where you're acting as that person. You've already achieved the goal. You're already living that goal. You are that person. And the more you can bring that to life and make that your image in your mind, and then the more you will become that. So Hans, let me just see what you're saying here. May I know there's others? It would be a self-exaggeration, ego enhancement. Well, you're first not going to believe it, right? You're going to create these images, and first your subconscious is going to rebel against it. And it's a question of just enhancing that and doing it over and over. And after a while, the resistance will melt and you're going to start believing it. And guess what? You're creating that. You're not going to just make the images. You're also going to start thinking about it. These people who create these kind of images and make that kind of success happen, they also start to think, what are these people doing in order to get to that result, to live that? What are these people feeling? And that's what I want you to do in that script. The next thing I want you to do is, how would a person that's so successful, how would that person act? How would that person feel? And first of all, going backwards, how does that person think? And then in your mind, think, feel, and act like these people. If you do, you're creating that image and it becomes very vivid. And your subconscious mind has a cybernetic mechanism that will drive you towards that new image as a new set point. Look at this image with the two cats here. The little kitten is looking at this itself as a lion. That is the set point. And all its actions and activities will be in line like, I'm this big, mighty, powerful cat. Also, in this case, it's a lion. But you know what I'm saying is, you become that. Eventually, your behavior will become so natural that you will really feel it and you will become that. And that's what drives you towards it. Your cybernetic mechanism just wants you to be like that because you've just changed that image. You're no longer that little frightful little cat here. You are now this image. And your subconscious has only one role: deliver what you tell it to do. You're giving it the image, it has to deliver. We're going to save your question, Hans, for afterwards. Is that okay? If you have any further questions about that. So write down your script and really make it vivid, and then ask yourself, how does that person act, feel, and think? Work it backwards from that goal. Write that down and try to feel that. If you can do that 3 times a day, just a few minutes, imagining that in a deeply relaxed state. Shut on your phones, just relax and image these things. It's going to be the world in change, I can assure you. It's worked for me because I started seeing myself as a successful entrepreneur. And success, by the way, isn't reaching the goal. Success, as Earl Nightingale says, is the continuous progression towards a worthy goal. And that is what it is. As long as you're on your way and every day you do something towards that, you are successful. You don't want to stop. Reaching the goal means you're going to stop. So you need to set a new goal and then continue a worthy progression towards that worthy goal. Does that make any sense to you guys? How do you want to see yourself? Do you want to see yourself as a lion or as a little kitty? Give me a quick response in the chat. I want to know if you're still here. You want to see a lion, absolutely. Growling lion, I love it. Exactly. So who wants to write down the movie script and see yourself as the person that is in your goal? And if you haven't got a goal, message me and I'll send you a copy of a goal card that you can print. Okay. Okay, great. Now, do you want to be a pauper or a CEO? We've just talked about it. Your deep and inner self-image has the power to make or break your success in business or life. And it'll drive your interior cybernetic mechanism towards that set point. In this case, your beautiful goal in image. And that's the subconscious mind, which is so powerful. You saw that earlier, how powerful it is, because it's responsible for almost 98% of your results. That's impressive, isn't it? Here's another client, Bernd. Before working with me, he was looking for the next level in business success. And he didn't know how to do it. He was lost in all the self-help material, too much of it, read thousands of books, but nothing made a difference. And he was seeking his new purpose. When he hopped on the mentorship program with me, after a few weeks, he started finding that there is more purpose. He was confident in his abilities. He's now starting a new business in a foreign country. And he's very clear on his purpose and he's focused on it. So he's doing fantastic. And so can you and anyone else who applies these kind of techniques, right? This is really not difficult. It just requires effort. As Emerson said, it's cause and effect. That's the most important law of the universe. What you put in is what comes back. And we have a toolbox full of mental faculties. We teach so many of these. There's actually 12 points that we teach in the program. But here today, you're seeing 3 very powerful methods. And if you use them, you're going to get great results out of this. Let me assure you. So let's have a quick review, a quick recap. So what is it that we learned today? We learned that a tough and hard look on how we spend the days reveals the fact that we waste an enormous amount of time, right? And that is based on ineffective habits. You can replace them by more effective ones. We looked at how that's done. Auto-suggestion. We learned that you can change your habits and behaviors if you know how to do it. Auto-suggest, auto-suggest. We work directly with the root cause of all behaviors so that we don't have to do the hard way, which is trying to work on behaviors themselves. We put straight on autopilot, and that's how you're going to be natural, and everything is going to flow. You don't have to think about it. You just have to install the habits, and that takes an everyday effort. But this is not difficult. It's just a routine. Then we started looking at how the majority of entrepreneurs and people in general is stuck with thoughts created by the outside world, the results, the environment, right? And so unwanted results, actually, and then lose sight of the goals and objectives of the company and of your life and of everything that matters to you. So 97% of the people are affected by this. That's a shocking amount. And they're functioning in this erroneous cycle of never getting out of this hamster wheel. It's a very sad story, but you are now empowered to start thinking differently, right? Staying focused on your goal is what gets you out of that wheel. And you finally put a new impulse on your thinking and you break free and you start growing, because this is what goals are all about. It's about your growth. You want to Continue growing, and every time you grow, new perspectives open up, new ideas come up. You want to be thinking like a CEO. That's how CEOs think. They think with a goal in mind. This is truly thinking into results. And then lastly, we looked at this powerful concept that was discovered by Dr. Maltz. And this is really how we see ourselves, our deep, secret inner image. And that is what is reflected in the way we get our results. Can't hide it. You can't pretend. Yes, you have an outer image that you can dazzle people with. It's the way you dress, talk, and engage with people. But the truth is, your results say everything about the way you deeply feel inside about you. But the good news is you can upgrade these images. You can make a difference. You can change the set point. You can see yourself as a lion. You can create the images of what you really want. Imagination. That's the powerful driver. That's how you create the visual experiences that the subconscious uses to relate to. And then it drives you with that cybernetic mechanism towards that. It's really that simple. Is it easy? I didn't say that. It requires work, but that's why we do mentorship. That's why we accompany people, because it's something that you find difficult to stay on track with. I used to fly as a pilot, and I managed to change my life because of this mentorship program. So which of these three things are you going to get engaged with first? Give me a quick idea. Are you going to learn new habits? You're going to think like the 3%? You're going to work on the self-image, or you're going to do all three? Excuse me. Which one are you going to take action on? Which one are you most excited about? Which one is giving you the most today? Give me something. Tell me what you feel about that. And by the way, while you're tapping into your keyboards, you know, I talked about a freebie, and there's a free bonus, and you're all going to get it because you're all hanging in there. So getting things done, self-image, sabotage, and 3%, working on the self-image, 3, then 2, and 1 in that order. Okay, great. You got your priorities right, Jacqueline. I love it. It's so great. It's so amazing. I love this. But here's the thing, there's still a problem. You know, with all this, you still don't really know how to train the mind to get the results that you want, because there's so much that's left uncovered in this 1 hour. And that's where we're coming to. We're coming to the hour. It's coming to an end here. But imagine what you can achieve. If you work on those 3 ideas for 6 months, you're going to be so empowered. You're going to be so far ahead of most other people because they're stuck in that hamster wheel. They're only seeing the outside world, and they get today what they had yesterday. Always the same. This is my free gift to you. It's a step-by-step, 5-step to increase your productivity. And since you guys were fantastic and you hang in there, you're going to be getting that in the email. And I'll be sending that to you. One last question. What if you had the chance to unlock all the areas and tap into those 97% of your dormant potential even further? Just think about that. So here we go. You now have the power to go out, take action, take control of your life, and apply what you've learned and really get results. Oh, Dennis, don't worry. You're going to be able to watch the replay. It's going to come through the emails. So don't worry about that. It's going to be great. So for those of you that are ready, I'd like to thank you very much for attending today. It's really been a pleasure for me to host this webinar, to share some of my story, to share some of what I've learned. And there's so much more. So I root for your success. Go and practice this stuff. Practice these 3 methods, and you're going to find if you're doing this in a disciplined way and you keep doing it, you're going to get great results. I wish you all the best. For those of you who want to skip over the trial and error and just get straight ahead and go into something that you know is going to guarantee you results, stay with me, because here is something that I propose to you. You can book a call with me, okay? I'm going to talk to you about your stuff. We're going to talk about your life. We're going to talk about your goals. I've opened 6 spots on my calendar. If you scan this image, you're going to get straight into my calendar. So you can get into my schedule. We can talk. We can find out if there is something that you want to achieve and how working together could possibly work for you and for me, because it's always a two-way street. And it's totally free. There's no obligation. I want to help you find out what you can do, and you can see for yourself if this is something that works for you. I'm going to also copy and paste in here quickly the link in case you are on your mobile phone and you won't be able to do this. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. I'm very happy that you guys enjoyed this. I'm really, really grateful for this meeting here with you today. This call is for people who know that there has to be more in life. You know that there is more to you. You know that you can do better, and you've been craving and wanting to get this out of you, but all the stuff you've done so far hasn't worked. You've tried so much other stuff, and we all have. But I can tell you one thing, everything changed for me when I started working with Bob and the mentorship. It's just another story altogether. This is also working for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. You might be there, you might have been there, you might know what I'm talking about, okay? This is also for people who are committed. You got to be committed, because if you're not committed, you're not going to get as far as you can. Your true potential requires you to commit, make a decision, and invest in yourself, into your future. It costs you time, it'll cost you some money, but it's so worth it because nobody else will. Warren Buffett says it all the time. You know, the best investment you can make in yourself is in yourself rather than into anything else that money can buy. So this is it. You can scan this, get straight into my calendar. Give me a yes if you want to get into a call or if you're booking already as we speak, because this will be really great. This is going to enhance your understanding, your awareness of what you're able to do. And then you can still see what you want to do afterwards. So, who of you guys found that you're going to apply these methods? Yes, you would like to. Hans, just click on this. Maybe I'll just give you that link again if it's here. Oh, sorry, I just didn't paste it in the right place. If you can't do the scan, then just use this link. You can just straight away, you can click on it. It's going to take you into my calendar, book a slot, and give me a yes once you've done that, okay? Otherwise, thank you guys, everyone, for attending. The replay will be up if you want to look at this again. And here is just something else. Client feedback from Anna, who's been, actually, she sent that the other week on Facebook. She said she spent years doing courses. I think you can relate to that. But this is absolutely 5-star. She thinks that working together was great, and she's living a life beyond her expectations. Everything to gain. And so I also want to open this up for a quick question and answer, and I want to just see who we've got here. There was a question from someone, so bear with me while I pull up the question. MJ, is the flame scenario like using a mantra? Well, a mantra would be a repetition, right? It would be a repetition of a phrase, wouldn't it? This is more like holding your attention on something and trying to keep your attention glued on something. And a flame is something very mesmerizing, so it makes a very good thing to focus on. Personally, I like looking at the flame more than the dot on the wall, because it moves a little bit. But the main thing is for your mental attention. Does that answer your question? MJ, are you still here? If that answers your question, just give me a quick yes. Otherwise, any other questions, you guys can type them into the question and answer box. Great, thank you, MJ. Any other questions, you can type them up. And otherwise, we're going to wrap this up for today. Okay, great. Fantastic. I've really loved this today. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And you'll be able to watch the replay. You'll get the free 5 steps into your productivity. It'll come to you in an email very soon. So once again, thank you guys. Really enjoyed this. And I look forward to your bookings. I want to talk to you about what you want, and then we'll take it from there. Have a great day. Thank you very much, everyone.